Pokemon Generation 4 remakes are almost here. Well, that's what the rumors say anyway. They're not really sure about if it will come, but if it will, there is a lot to be excited about. This is the time that Generation 4 remakes might actually come. What we will get, how will the remakes be like? A lot of people were left disappointed by Sword and Shield, and that is kind of fair in my opinion. There were lots of expectations for Sword and Shield. It was the first console games that Game Freak had made for Pokemon. In the main series, at least. But today, I want to take a further look on how the future of Pokemon will be and what will we have in the next games, assuming they will be the Diamond and Pearl remakes. So, today I will discuss with you all of the features that we will have, all of the changes that there will be, and what will be removed, and what Game Freak will not even consider adding. But before that, I want to discuss with you about Game Freak in general and how they are making modern Pokemon games. The thing about Game Freak is that they are a fairly small company looking at how they are handling the biggest media franchise of all, at the moment at least. So, they have this enormous task of making games based on it. And especially because Pokemon, it's got its beginnings from games. It's not like Marvel, where the origin is from comic books. No, these are games. They have always been games. So those games, they mean a lot to the fans. And Game Freak knows this. But they seem to be ignoring the hardcore audience of Pokemon. Because, as I said, it's one of the biggest franchises. So they kind of have to play it safe. They have to think about the children. Because Pokemon does appeal to the children a lot. So they will have to make the games enjoyable from a child's perspective. And this has distorted Game Freak's philosophy, design philosophy a little. If you look at interviews for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, remakes of Gold and Silver, of course, you can read from the interviews how passionate the people at Game Freak were to make these games, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They said something like, "We are very excited to remake these classics, and we just want to cram everything we have into making these games." But then something happened. A few years later, it was time to make Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Another remake, this time of Ruby and Sapphire. But the games weren't so good as Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That, of course, being subjective, this is my opinion. And there was something clearly there that was missing. And part of that was passion. And Game Freak's philosophy there was a bit distorted. In the interviews, they excused the lack of Battle Frontier by saying they want to make shorter games because so many kids play mobile games these days and they move on really quickly. That's not their audience. Your audience is not the same. And that is something Game Freak should understand. And I think nowadays they do a bit. They still do not make perfect games. There is something more. I can see in Sword and Shield that there was definitely effort put into them. But the biggest obstacle that Game Freak has is time. They do not have much time. Pokemon, since the days of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, have become way more popular. The reason for their popularity comes from outside of the games, from other venues. One of them is Pokemon Go. And Pokemon Go, when it came out, it was a phenomenon. And Game Freak realized, hey, we have a much bigger outreach here. And they are also very influenced by Pokemon Go. You can definitely see that. That's why they made Let's Go. But they do understand also their fan base a bit more. It's not just about Pokemon Go and just making the most amount of money. They do understand it. They do not understand everything because their fan base is so large and they are a Japanese company. They mainly look at Japan. What's going on there? Their handhelds are way more popular than consoles. So that's why they have always made games for consoles. And when it came time to make Sword and Shield, they were not really sure what the difference is. Sword and Shield felt very samey to the previous games, Ultra Sun and Moon, X and Y, or As. Felt like a similar experience, but the Western audience was expecting something a bit different. And Game Freak also saw that a bit. They were very impressed by another Nintendo game. This being Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They were very excited for it and saw the reception that fans had for it. And that's why they even included features like the wide area to Sword and Shield. So, where are we now? I do expect the Diamond and Pearl remakes to be better games than Sword and Shield, but they won't be a big step forwards for Game Freak. Because as I said, they do not have that much time. Thankfully, they kinda took a year off to make Sword and Shield DLC and not a full game. That's a big relief for me. I very much appreciated that instead of making another full game, which would have taken more and more time out of making whatever they have to do next. Pokemon is an analyzed franchise nowadays. They have to crank out new content or a new game almost every year, with a few exceptions, of course. And it's not just about the games anymore. There's the anime, there's the card game, there's the merchandise that has to release some year and some year soon. So they will have to keep on making new stuff. Also, with Game Freak, I'm very positive about the fact that they are moving offices. The thing about this is now they are very much closer to other Nintendo studios that can give them help. One studio, which I hope Game Freak will collaborate with, is Monolith Soft, creator of Xenoblade games. Monolith Soft has helped Nintendo with other titles before, such as Breath of the Wild, others too, but I don't remember them. And they are very experienced with RPGs, so I do hope Monolith Soft gives Game Freak a boost and helps them make a better game. So Diamond and Pearl remakes will not be a big step forward. They will not have much improved graphics. They will not have voice acting. They will not have full, very high quality cutscenes. But that leaves the question, how will these games be better? Well, now it's time to look at different features that I think Game Freak will include in Diamond and Pearl remakes. First section, we will cover things or features really that will change a little. They will not be the same. They will not be the same as they were in the original games. The second section, we will look at new things, completely new things that Game Freak will add that were not in the originals. Third section, things Game Freak will not add, despite the fan demand or despite it making sense. And the fourth and final section will be about features that are in the originals but will not make a return in the remakes. Okay, let's begin. Section 1, as I said, things that will change a little. First of them being the Sinnoh Underground. The Sinnoh Underground was an area below Sinnoh. Had a lot of tunnels, it was very mazy, very huge area that I think it was in 3 sections, 3 or 4 sections in total, even. And what you could do there is you could set up your secret base, you could dig up for items and fossils, you could set up traps and play with your friends locally there. But what I predict that will happen in the remakes is that Game Freak will make this experience more streamlined. It will not be as mazy, there will only be one section, it will be a bit more open, and you will always warp to the same starting area, which is something that the original game didn't have. You can still mine for fossils and items, you can still have your secret base over there. There are still going to be a few tunnels leading all around, but how the area looks will be different, and there will always be one starting area that you will always walk to. Hopefully, you can play with your friends now online there. I doubt it, but hopefully. Maybe you will see other trainers there, like you saw in the Sword and Shield Wild area, but you cannot interact with them, they're not there real time. You can still talk to them and maybe get traps or furniture for your secret base. But that's it. The next feature I want to talk with you guys is contests, Pokemon contests. These have not been in the mainline games since ORAS, and before that, the last time they were seen were in Platinum, which is another Sinnoh game, third version of Diamond and Pearl. It has been a while since we have last had contests in a mainline Pokemon game. I think they will be very, very similar to how they were in ORAS and in the originals. And the only exception I can see is them adding Dynamaxing or other features, maybe dressing up your Pokemon more and having the games more in 3D. But still, it will be very similar. Maybe the minigames will be rhythm-based, but still the contest will not change that much. They will still be there, thankfully. They are a really big feature of Diamond and Pearl. Next feature is Puffins. There's not much to say about Puffins. They work similarly to Curry in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is just treats or food that you can give your Pokemon. And they will boost your contest stats, your coolness, your beauty, your smarts, and other stats. But what I think will be different, maybe the minigame will be different to how you make Puffins. Maybe they will expand it a bit. But they will probably also add like a Puffin Dex, kind of like they had a Curry Dex in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but for Puffins this time. and add a wide variety of morphins into the game, which will just be cool. Next up is Pokemon seals. Pokemon seals were basically stickers you can put in your Pokeball, and they would produce an effect whenever the Pokemon comes out. For example, if you had a heart sticker or a heart seal, there would be hearts flying around when the Pokemon comes out of the Pokeball. This will also be very similar to how they were in the original games. But I predict that they will remove the letter seal, so you cannot have letters appearing when the Pokeball opens. This is to prevent bullying or having naughty words on screen while you're playing Pokemon. They will not also allow Pokemon seals to be in Wi-Fi, as I think it was in the originals as well. Next prediction is Pocketch, and the company that had Pocketch will expand. Diamond and Pearl were the first games in the Pokemon franchise history, at least in the mainline series, to use two screens. And the bottom screen was your smartwatch, Pocketch, that you could have apps in, those apps being like a calculator, a way to track roaming legendaries and having a map there. You can check your daycare, you can track your steps, that kind of stuff. Very basic, but still, at least it was something. It's actually kind of funny that the Switch is the first time in forever that Nintendo is having a console with only one screen. And so, if we get Pocketch back, it will have to change significantly. What I think will happen is that they will just make Pocketch your menu. You will press plus or whatever, and the menu appears. It will be a Pocketch now, instead of like the Rotom phone that it was in Sword and Shield. But they will add new stuff that you can do with your Pocketch. And one of these ideas I have is a delivery service that you can order items from, and then a pallet bus swoops down and sells you items. You can order potions and a few Pokeballs that way. It will be more expensive than just buying them from the Pokemon. It will make the game a bit easier, but that's something Game Freak just wants to do, make it streamlined and more appealing for kids. Don't make it too hard. A lot of people would complain about a delivery service like this, but it will be more expensive and people will not use it that much, just in an emergency. So it would kind of be okay. The last feature I want to talk to you about in this section is the photo studio. The photo studio was in Jubilee City. You could pick outfits for your Pokemon and put accessories on them, choose your background and just take a funny picture. This picture would then be sent out to your friends if you trade it with them, and your picture would be visible in their galleries. I think this will stay mostly the same. Maybe they will expand it a bit like they did in Alola games, the 7 generations Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon. They also had a photo studio, but this time they will add the trainer in there also. And I think the gallery will have more space in there. I think in the originals you could only have like 8 pictures or 10 pictures that you could see from your friends, but this time it will be like 20 or 30. And about the accessories and outfits you can put on Pokemon, remember that one. I will come back to that later, okay? Section number 2, things that they will add. So these are features or things that were not in the original Diamond and Pearl, or Platinum maybe. First of these is very apparent. I mentioned this feature previously, and this is the wide areas. This is the main attraction of Sword and Shield, so I think it is very likely that Game Freak wants to bring this feature back for Diamond and Pearl remakes. So the question is, what locations will become wild areas? In my opinion, there are two very good choices for wide areas. First one being Mount Coronet. Mount Coronet is the mountain in the middle of the Sinnoh region. I think that would be a perfect wide area, because not only is this important to the main story, you go through it a few times, it's the central location of all of Sinnoh, and it's huge, and they can make it even bigger by making it a wild area. There will be all kinds of cave Pokemon, rock types, ground types, Zubats, there's also water, a lot of water types, and there's the summit where there will be ice types, grass types, flying types going around. Kinda similar of a wide area to how the Crown Tundra was. Another area that I think is very possible to becoming a wide area is the post-game island with the resort area, battle area, and the third area that I have forgotten the name of. We had Heatran there somewhere. That one. I think Game Freak will just combine all of these areas together and make it be surrounded by a wide area. One popular feature is trainer customization. This has been in the games since X and Y, but were not there in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and people were not happy about it being missing in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I do think trainer customization has to return in Diamond and Pearl remakes. But since this is the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, there will be cool anniversary costumes for your trainer to wear, based on previous gym leaders, champions, other significant trainers, the protagonists. You can dress up as Red or Blue or Giovanni or Misty, Erica, and maybe even including from generations beyond Generation 4. So generations 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be really exciting to see. But what is more exciting, and this is purely speculation, it is a feature that I have wanted in Pokemon for a very long time. Not only trainer customization will come, but I predict that they will also have Pokemon customization. You will be able to put accessories and outfits. On your Bidoof, it will have a cute top hat. It will be adorable. And that will be one of the main selling points of these remakes. And people will go crazy for it, including me. I can't wait to have my Chimchar wear a monocle and a beard. That would be so cool. They are, as I mentioned in the contest section, you will also be given points in the contest for the outfits that your Pokemon wears. And that's what makes the contest more fun in the remakes, because they are in 3D and you will be able to have cool costumes on your Pokemon. I think this is a bit unlikely to actually happen, but I just think it would be cool and I just had to mention it. I do not think they will have any effects in battles, but I do hope you can actually wear these costumes to battle. Next feature that they might add is Dynamaxing. It is also one of the biggest gimmicks of Sword and Shield, but there's also reason to believe that Dynamaxing might not return. That reason being that, for story reasons, Sword and Shield were very clear with the fact that Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing were features that only appeared in the Galar region. So that's why Dynamaxing might not return. But Game Freak can just do it. They can come up with another excuse, maybe something to do with Giratina or Arceus, that makes Pokemon grow large. And they do need to have something in the box arts to sell the new games. They can't just have all the legendaries be there, although that was the case for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But I think that there has to be some new forms for Dialga and Palkia, and that might as well be a Gigantamax version of those two. It's also possible that they will come up with a feature that is very, very similar, but with a different name. Kinda like Mega Evolution compared to Primal Reversion. But I'm not sure if Dynamaxing will return. If it does, I'm glad. It's not my favorite feature, but I'm definitely welcome to having another game with Dynamaxing in it. The last thing that I think that Game Freak will add is a post-game story quest. This is very similar to what they did in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where they had the Delta episode with Rayquaza and Deoxys, or in Ultra Sun and Moon, where they had the Team Rocket takeover, with all of the leaders from the previous evil teams coming up together. And I think this time, the story quest will be either about Giratina and the Distortion Word, because I do not see them adding Distortion Word otherwise, or it will be episodic, kinda like in the Crown Tundra. And all of the episodes will be about different mythical Pokemon living in Sinnoh, so Shaman, Arceus and Darkrai. I think this will happen because all of the mythicals in Sinnoh had their own locations that you can go to. Darkrai had an island, Arceus had a staircase and a hall on top of Mount Coronet, and Shaman had a root full of flowers. So I think they will expand on those mythicals and offer those locations to us again. And they will be episodic, kinda like in the Crown Tundra. Okay, section number 3. Things that Game Freak will not add despite a great demand from the fans. First of these features is Sinnoh forms, or regional forms of Pokemon, exclusive to Sinnoh. This trend started in the 7th generation games, Sun and Moon, where they had Alolan forms of Kanto Pokemon. Sword and Shield expanded on this by bringing Galarian forms of more than just Kanto Pokemon. There were also Unova Pokemon, there were also Hoenn Pokemon. But I do not think they will continue this trend now with the remakes. Hopefully this will return in Generation 9 games. The next feature, something was missing from Sword and Shield, and this was quite a lot of Pokemon, hundreds of Pokemon missing. Some of them will be added to Diamond and Pearl remakes, but it will not add all of the missing Pokemon from Sword and Shield. I think Game Freak will stick to their guns with this idea of not including every Pokemon going further. And this is just something we will have to get used to. It's not something I really enjoy, but I think Game Freak will stick to their guns, because having 800 plus characters in your game every time, it takes a lot of time. And as I said before, Game Freak doesn't have that much time. Another feature that I doubt Game Freak will add is a battle frontier. A lot of people wanted Auras to have a battle frontier, but they didn't. And I think that will continue in Diamond and Pearl. Battle Frontier was not in the original Diamond and Pearl, but it was in Platinum. But Battle Frontier is not as popular of a feature that some people might think it is. And that's why I think Game Freak will just leave it out. If they have it, great. But I would not expect Game Freak to include it. Alongside adding the remaining Pokemon, people have also been complaining about the animations in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I do not think this is the time that Game Freak will fix that. There will be still the same default poses that you have known since. These will still be the same poses and the same animations that we have had in the game since X and Y. But I do not think this is the time to redo most of them. Hopefully they will do a bit. Some of the Sinnoh Pokemon will receive new poses, maybe new attack animations. But still, I do find that unlikely. Making animations takes time for Game Freak, and yeah, they don't have much time left. And the final thing that I think they will not add, and this is bizarre but very Game Freak, is that they will not have Pokemon Home connectivity on launch. This has happened before with Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home, and I do not see the remakes being able to connect to Pokemon Home on day one. We will have to wait a few months. It will be bizarre, it will be annoying, but I just wanted to include it there, just to give you a warning. Moving on to the last section in this video, and these will be features that will be completely removed from Diamond and Pearl remakes, even though they were in the originals. First of these, I know that it will crush your dreams, it will ruin your childhood, and it will be very tragic to hear, but I just do not think that Pal Park will return. That was a joke. I know I'm not very expressive and my delivery sucks, but that was a joke. Pal Park is not the most popular feature, not that many people liked it. It's a separate building in Sinnoh, and it's basically used for transferring your Pokemon from Generation 3 to Generation 4. But with Pokemon Home being a thing, I do not think having Pal Park would be useful in any way. It will have to get replaced by something else. I'm not sure what that else will be yet. It's kind of impossible to really predict that. But just saying, Pal Park will not return. Another thing that is kind of outdated is HMs. HMs were a staple in the Pokemon franchise for a long time. But since Generation 7, they have been moving away from having any HMs. Instead, we have gotten partner Pokemon, ride Pokemon, your bicycle. So I do not think HMs will return. So that's a hooray. That's a good thing. HMs were really bothersome. But the question is, what will replace HMs? I'm not sure. Maybe your Pocket will have a ride Pokemon app. Uber for Pokemon. Or something cool like that. Make it more trendy. One other building that I think is very obvious that will not return is the Game Corner. The Game Corner has not been in the game since Heart Gold and Soul Silver because of gambling regulations and the game being for children. They could still do a Game Corner, but have there be minigames instead. Kinda like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver international versions where they had Wards Up Flip. But I do think they will go the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire route, where they will just have a game corner building and it has been shut down. More buildings that we will talk about now are the GTS building. GTS was a big feature in Diamond and Pearl. First time you could do online in Pokemon. But since Game Freak has kind of faded out GTS and it's nowadays only being found in Pokemon Home, I do not think they will have a separate building for GTS. Then, moving on, Safari Zone. Again, has not been in the game for a very long time, also since Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Yes, ORAS did have Safari Zone, but it was a normal area. It didn't have the normal rules of a Safari Zone that makes Safari Zone special. So, for the Great Marsh or the Sinnoh Safari Zone, it might return, but I am very doubtful it will be like the Safari Zone that we used to have. Just be a normal area, or it will be replaced by something else. Maybe that too will become a wild area, who knows? Okay, so Pokemon Swarms and the rotating Pokemon of Pokemon Mansion is next. I do not think this will return. Swarms, where a group of Pokemon would come to a random route each day. So let's say you could look up the TV in Diamond and Pearl and see that on Route 220 there would be Corsola all day. But since that feature is kinda with how wide areas operate nowadays, I do not think Swarms or Pokemon Mansion will return this time. Okay, so the last feature in this video that I want to talk about is the Amity Square. Amity Square was in Heart Home City. It was a playground where you could have your Pokemon follow you around and it would just find items for you and increase your Pokemon's happiness by walking around there. But in Diamond and Pearl, it was only restricted to a few cute Pokemon. And in Platinum, they also added your starters to be able to follow you around, but it was very limiting. I do not think this will return, A, because it will be replaced by a Pokemon camp-like feature where you can play with your Pokemon at all times, and the Amity Square buildings will just transform to a center focused on that feature, on playing with your Pokemon. And second of all, I do think Pokemon will be able to follow you around in the wild areas, but not in other parts of Sinnoh. So having a place dedicated to Pokemon following you around would not really make sense. Okay, that was all of my ideas for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, hit the bell, go buy some milk, do whatever. Leave comments down below, follow me on Twitter, do a lot of things. This will be your homework. I will check this list the next time you come to my videos. But that said, I hope you have a great day and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.